Welcome in, water signs. This is Heather with Heather's Healing, and I'm here to look at the month of January 2026 for water signs, Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. Be sure to check your sun, moon, rising, and Venus as well. All right, so let's go ahead and pull some cards here. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. All right, so let's look at, I'm going to do a Celtic cross layout to get a broad overview of the month. So let me lay out the cards here for water signs. What do water signs need to know about this month? I need a bigger desk. Whoops. Or smaller cards. And welcome to 2026. All right, so water signs. Main energy of the month. We've got the Nine of Wands in reverse. I feel like water signs, you're coming out of a period of being really overwhelmed, constantly having your boundaries crossed. It feels like you're coming out of that energy. So I do feel the energy this month of recovery. You're probably still not feeling 100% like yourself, but there is an energy of recovery here. That's what I'm feeling from this Nine of Wands in reverse. I know oftentimes the reverse Nine of Wands can talk about delays. It can talk about giving up or surrender. And I don't see surrender as being a bad thing. It can be accepting where you are and giving yourself some space to come up with your plan. But what I am feeling here is you're coming out of some really tough energies, and you need this month to rest, recover, give yourself some time. Don't rush into anything. Give yourself space. Let's see what we've got. So we've got the Hierophant. And this energy could go along with the energy of surrender. This is the block, potential block. But what I'm feeling here, this is where you're being asked to embrace this energy. So seeking a higher power, your connection to God, to the divine, strengthening that connection. And this is also understanding that you can't see everything clearly from your point of view always. It's really hard to be objective about yourself. I know for me, trying to read myself or do readings for me is really hard. I'm too close to me. It's too hard to get to be objective. So seek out a higher power. Seek out someone that can give you, well, first off, seek out somebody that you trust and that can give you an objective perspective on things. Be open to learn, be open for new information. That's going to be really helpful this month, and that's always good advice, I feel. The root of what's going on here, and I feel like this is the energy that you are desiring. The Three of Cups, having connections, being more lighthearted, finding joy, finding simplicity in the simplest things. So this could be getting back to basics. What I really feel from this energy for water signs this month is you're being very particular about how you're spending your time, where you're putting your energy is going to be really, it's really important. You need this time to rest, recuperate, get your energy back up so that you can be in a place of connecting with others so that you can be available for that. Really nice energy though. Where you're coming from, Four of Pentacles. This is a recent past energy. And I kind of feel like this was maybe not the dominant energy of last year, but it feels like it's a really strong undercurrent of 2025 for water signs. And that is holding so tightly to the past, holding so tightly to people, to situations, not wanting things to change, not wanting things to end, but of course they always do. And that's a really tough energy to wrap your emotions around, to wrap your heart around. And there's nothing wrong with that. I kind of feel like we all do that to some degree. So coming out of that energy, and again, the energy of surrender is really here, and surrender is not giving up. Surrender is really just realizing there's only so much that you have control over, and there's only so much that you can influence. And sometimes you just have to throw it out there and see what sticks. And you can't control everything, so stop trying to, because I feel like that really wore down your energy last year, and I feel like that's part of what you're recovering from. Let's look at present energies. Page of Pentacles. I do like this. It kind of goes along with this Hierophant energy, seeking wisdom, seeking higher knowledge. The Hierophant's more about esoteric knowledge and connection. But Page of Pentacles could be that. But there is an energy here of, I don't want to say starting over, but doing things differently, curious about learning something new, curious about how can I simplify my life? How can I make things easier for myself? There's an energy of curiosity here, and I feel like that's really helpful, but there's an energy here of wanting to learn more. It could be going back to school. It doesn't have to be anything like that. But there is, I do feel like you guys are ready to do life differently this year. And so maybe it's you just feeling into that. What are you going to change? What is it that you're interested in? Where are you going to invest your energy? It's that type of thing. So you could be exploring ideas around that. What is coming up? Oh, well, this kind of makes sense. We've got the Six of Swords. So this is future. This could be the end of January. This could be later on this year. This reading is for January, but we have the Six of Swords. So I do believe that this evaluating your life, evaluating how you're going to spend your energy leads you to a conclusion of what you need to move away from. This could be physical moving away, or this could actually be just energetically you are disconnecting from certain people, certain practices, thoughts. Swords talk a lot about communication, thoughts, your mind. So it could be just severing your ties to a particular way of thinking. It really does feel like any part of you that's been really rigid or inflexible, it feels like you are moving out of that energy. You're making a conscious decision to value yourself, to not give your energy away so easily. I feel like this year you're probably going to be really particular about who you spend your time with. Time is really valuable, and I feel like water signs, this is going to be a big thing for you this year. Time. your energy, how you spend it, who you spend it with, that sort of thing. This could also influence where you're working. That could come up as well. But you are making a conscious decision to move out of situations that you're no longer in alignment with. And I really like that. And I feel like part of what you really learned from last year is you don't have any control. You can only control so many things, and that being in a constant, rigid way of being, even though you don't come across as being rigid, you can come across as being very flexible and open and open-minded, but energetically, your energy was really rigid and tense, and I think you're realizing that took a big toll on you physically, probably mentally and emotionally last year, and so there's a desire here to allow the softness, which I do believe water signs, you have a softness it's not weakness. It's just a softness. There's a softness to your energy that is natural to you. And I think you are embracing that more this year, and you're realizing it isn't a weakness. It's a strength of yours. And when you are trying to not be that, it wears down your energy, So simplicity, coming back to the basics, allowing yourself to feel, allowing yourself to connect to others and not be afraid of getting hurt. That could be a big part of this too. Let's see. So where you get your power or what drains you this month, we have the Five of Cups, and again, going back to allowing yourself to feel what you feel, the Five of Cups, this is grief. This is despair. This is grief. You cannot control this. If you are grieving, you are grieving. There's nothing wrong with that. Allow yourself to grieve. Don't try to pretend like it isn't happening, and don't try to convince yourself otherwise. That's going back to this being really, rigid. Allow yourself to grieve. And yeah, it's interesting with grief because it can, in the moment, it's draining your energy, it can make you feel very tired and very weak. But in the long run, allowing yourself to feel those feelings will strengthen you energetically because you're not hanging on to all of those emotions. So keep that in mind. We're looking at energies around you, outside influences, things that are influencing you. And I really like this card. We have the Eight of Pentacles. And I love in this card that we have three people plus some little fairies doing a craft together. They're working together. They're creating something beautiful. I like this energy around you. So there is, and maybe part of this is you're seeking out this energy, but it's focusing on creating beauty in your world, creating beauty within your home, connecting with others, doing meaningful activities with people. And maybe that's part of how you are channeling your grief too, is, having fun and being around people. You're not running from yourself and you're not running from your emotions, but you're taking time to create something beautiful. The other thing that stands out to me here is the fairies, and going back to this card here, talking about connecting with a higher power, connecting with energies and getting information from what's around you. We're constantly surrounded by all kinds of energies, but we're constantly surrounded by angelic energies. We're surrounded by fae energies. We're surrounded by all kinds of energies that can bring us information. So tapping into that. So you might be taking time out or making a conscious effort to meditate, connect with your guides. It's that type of energy, but you're going about it in a playful way. That's a really nice energy. I do like that. And I love this version of the Eight of Pentacles, because oftentimes the Eight of Pentacles is about repetitive, doing repetitive things over and over again, which, your daily activities and all of that, which is helpful, and we all do. But this is, slowing down. There doesn't seem to be a rush with this, the energy of this card, and you're doing something fun. What are your hopes and fears? This is the energy of your hopes and fears. We've got the Ten of Wands here. And what I love about this card, normally the Ten of Wands, there's an energy of overwhelm. I don't feel that from this card. I feel like that's, what you're coming out of. And everything that you learned last year, whatever you went through last year, it really strengthened you. And you're going to be stronger for it. And I also feel like many of you are feeling more empowered, and you're ready to make some changes. Maybe not this month because you're still, resting, recovering. January always kind of feels like a month of integration, just kind of trying to digest 2025. So, but I do feel like going forward this year, you're going to feel very empowered and ready to make some changes. Final advice and guidance. We've got the Sun energy here. Beautiful card. I love this card. This is the ultimate card of happiness and optimism in tarot. But the trick to this card is that happiness and joy, that you are the one that creates that. So that comes from within. So there is a need to be very mindful about where you're paying attention. Again, it's coming all back to the energy, how you are spending your energy, how you're spending your time. And if you don't have the energy for certain things, do you need to continue to do those? And if you don't have the energy, if you don't have money to spend, can you spend the money? I mean, I guess if you have credit cards, you can, but you're stealing happiness from your future self is the way I look at it. So being very intentional about everything you do, especially this month, because I feel like this is going to set the tone for the first quarter of this year. So what are your intentions for yourself? What do you want to see for yourself? Take some time to map that out this month. January is always a good month to do that. And I'm going to pull some cards for each sign here in just a sec. I just wanted to look over the cards here really quick. Yeah, I do really love that Sun energy. And I really like that Ten of Wands. In tarot, that's not one of my favorite cards, but in this deck, I really love it. And I also love that there's a fox standing here by her. Curiosity. There's an energy here of stepping out of your comfort zone, like you're ready for that. You're ready for an adventure. You're ready to maybe go off on your own. Interesting. I like it. Okay, so let's pull a card for Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. And this is additional advice and guidance. So for Pisces, January 2026. And I'll be doing a yearly reading for you guys as well. Hopefully I'll have that up this week. And please like and comment, or at least like. I'd really appreciate it if you like the video. All right, so Pisces, additional advice and guidance. Cancer and Scorpio. Scorpio, you got 2. I love the images on these cards more than anything. So really just kind of feel into the energy of the card. So Pisces, you have the quail and gooseberry, the energy of anticipation. I love that. And that's kind of what I'm feeling here from some of these cards, especially this card. It's like it's anticipation. It's not anxiety. It's not fear. You're excited. You're excited for what's coming next. You're excited for it. And I love the buoyancy of that energy, what I'm feeling for Pisces. There's a buoyancy here. There's a light. Your energy feels lighter this year. And in general, I kind of feel that for everybody. I don't think this is necessarily going to be an easy year. But the gift of this year is there's a lightness to our personal energetic fields, which makes it easier. I think it's going to make it easier to flow through the year. So Pisces, the quail and gooseberry, anticipation. Cancer. Oh, I love this card. The beaver and birch. Oh my gosh, what an imperfect card for Cancer. Home. A focus on not necessarily your home, the house where you live, but what is home? I feel like there is an energy here of exploring what home is. What does home mean to you? And maybe the energy of your home has changed. Maybe you are in a different environment. Maybe you're with a different partner. Maybe you have new family members coming in. Perhaps you've lost family members. The energy has shifted. Things have changed for you. So there's an energy of coming home to yourself, and allowing yourself to be okay with that. But there is an energy here of exploring home. The other thing that stands out is birch. Birch is really protective. It's a really protective energy. It's one of my favorite. And if you have birch trees, your house is protected for sure. But I could be wrong about this, but I remember reading once that the maypoles were birch, inviting in protection and happiness and joy, and baby cradles were made from birch. So anyway, inviting the energy of birch to help stabilize your energy, and you're safe. I'm hearing specifically safe to create. So what is it that you're creating this year? Scorpio, you got 2. So let's start with this one. The card is the weasel and pine, introspection. What's coming to me with the weasel is how flexible they are. And we started this reading off kind of talking about being the water signs energy being really rigid last year. So coming into this year, there's some flexibility here, and I think that comes from what you learned from last year. Again, you can't control everything. You're not meant to control everything, but finding your flow, and also the energy of pine. That to me is grandfather energy. So you could have a wise people in your life. You could be seeking comfort or seeking information from a grandfather. This could also be a grandfather coming through to support you this year from the other side. But I always feel like with any of the big pine trees, it's a connection to your ancestry, to your roots, and to grandfather medicine. And you also have, and I love this card, really beautiful, the snake and fern, starting over. Interesting. So maybe some of you are starting over. We have this card, the 6 of Wands. This is the card of starting over. This is moving to a to calmer waters, getting out of a unhealthy situation, prioritizing yourself, prioritizing your health. And we're coming out of a snake year. So starting over, you could be starting something over. It's a really beautiful energy. And there's something here with the snake and you, it really is about conserving your energy, kind of like what I was talking about, but there is something here specific for Scorpio about conserving your energy, spending it wisely. And with the fern, I'm really feeling the energy of grace, having grace for yourself. There's a softer energy coming out with you guys this year. So don't let that scare you. You're still fierce. You still have a very fierce energy about you, but you're allowing that softer side of you to show. And I also really love the curiosity of the weasel. Be very curious this year. Ask a lot of questions, all of the water signs. But beautiful message. This is for January. Like I said, I'll be doing a reading for the year, and we'll go quarter by quarter. And also, if you'd like to book a one-on-one, I am offering my sessions for this month only. I'm offering them at 30% off. I have a code below as well as a link. If you'd like a personal reading, we could go through your year ahead, or we could just do a reading and just check in with your guides, get some information. It's always fun to check in at the beginning of the year. All right, you guys, have a fantastic January. I'm wishing you the best, and I'll talk to you real soon.